Why, hello, and welcome to issue 660 of Geek in the City Radio, coming to you live from Guardian Games. I'm Aaron Duran.
And I'm Bina Rita.
And I'm your other host, Cable Hashitani. Why did we change? What happened?
Look, he sets the tone. I can't.
I have to start mentioning that we're coming live from the studio, so I'm trying to find a way to work that in.
That's great.
So he has to. He no longer has enough time to also tell you that he is your host.
I mean, it could be scripted as I'm your host, Aaron Duran. I'm your other host, Bina Rita. And I'm your other host, Cable Hashitani. And we are coming to you live from the recording booth at Guardian Games, or whatever this is.
That is true.
Well, that's how we're going to do it, because
That's how we're gonna do it now.
There you go.
Because that makes way more sense now. I'm glad we got to workshop that while we were going. It's super sweet.
Professional.
Booyah.
You know we're professional because look at all of our fancy microphones.
I know. Look at all the stuff's going on now, man. It's
Ooh.
good times. Hey, what are we doing today?
We are interviewing Taylor Stark from Witch Hunt Theater today.
Woo!
I'm excited.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about not Taylor Stark specifically, but her project, her theater troupe, I guess you would call it.
That's what Witch Hunt Theater is. It's a theater troupe.
And they are site-specific interactive theater
Immersive.
experience.
Yep.
Immersive. Thank you. We experienced a small taste of it at the Ghosts of Summer convention that we went to a couple weeks ago, and now we're gonna meet with her live and talk about theater, her theater project.
Specifically, we're going to ask her some questions and let her promote the Witch Hunt Theater's upcoming competitive thing called Death Race.
Yeah. This person's going to trick me into exercising.
Possibly.
I mean,
Or I just get killed.
you exercise sometimes.
No, I do. And I actually have to get more. I have to get back at it a bit more also after my doctor's visit yesterday.
Oh, I see. One
Yeah.
of those visits.
Yes.
Ooh.
Actually, everything came back actually pretty positive. There's just a few things a little bit higher than she'd like it to be.
Sure.
Right.
Amazingly, none of them diabetes related, considering I am overweight and Mexican American. I was like 2 strikes, but
Good job.
boo, skated that bad boy.
Yeah.
I think it has more to do with those than just those two
people.
things.
Oh.
No. Oh, man.
I was about to say it probably helps that I don't have a lot of sugar in my diet as I'm pounding a Fanta. But as a rule, I don't have a lot of sugar.
See, that's why I go for
It's because you're so sweet already.
Yes, that's right. I mean, there's a lot of sugar in beer
Shut up.
because it turns into sugar.
Oh, I know. This is body by beer.
Chemistry.
I'm well aware.
Bean body by beer.
Bean body by beer.
Trip bees.
Again, either
No,
one of you
quad
are
B.
welcome. Either or both of you are welcome to join me at the climbing gym.
Well, I already started my routine.
That's true. You did.
Me and my boss lift weights.
Oh, that's right, man. I can't. Well, I need a boss that just pays my gym stuff. Or I just need a boss, really.
Yeah, one step at a time, friend.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have some expense, but
Right.
much lower than it would be if I was doing it on my own.
Oh
so.
shit! By the way, today,
Hmm?
69 days till Halloween.
Nice.
Nice.
We're all children.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Hey, and Warlock in the chat, we should wish them a happy birthday because that's today.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Bags.
Woo!
And for your birthday, we are bringing you a cool interview here in just a few minutes.
Yeah. But let's see.
What other fun things? How was everyone's weekend?
I know. Yeah.
How we had a death in the family this morning.
Yeah, but he asked about the weekend. No, sorry.
Jesus. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Way to bring down the room.
It's someone I am related to by marriage, and I didn't know them well, but I did like them, and it was quite it's quite a shock, I think. So
Yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Other than that, we went to a wine and cheese event.
Yes, our friends the Bordners.
Yeah.
have traditionally held a wine and cheese party every August.
Mhm.
They didn't have it for a couple years for the obvious reasons.
For reasons, yes.
And this one was also like pretty lightly attended compared to like other iterations in the past. But that actually made it kind of nice because we actually got to see the hosts more than typical.
Yeah, no, it was pretty. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
It was cool. I don't feel like I did a whole lot of other things this weekend. Yeah.
I specifically did not. Like I did some comic work for Rose City Comics,
Right.
and then worked out.
Getting swole.
I am not getting swole. I am just trying not to lose muscle mass.
Oh, yeah.
I am.
Getting swole?
Yeah.
Gotta get rips.
No, I too am at this. Like, these used to be some pretty decent muscles.
I remember
Really
you used to do some
united.
flexing and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was proud of those muscles. They took me years to
I know.
develop.
And yet it takes days, weeks
I know.
for them to just atrophy and go away.
Personally offended. I am personally offended
You
by
should.
the amount of time and effort it takes to build good muscles, even decent muscles. Not even
Yeah.
good. I was never like ripped, you know. But it really only takes like a week to fall off the
Yeah.
wagon and
Oh, yeah.
feel like a garbage human being again.
Yep.
It was like what's his name, Michael B. Jordan, because he went from filming Creed
hmm
to Black Panther, I think filming Creed 2, and like on an interview they said, well, when Creed 2 is over, like what are you gonna do next? And he's like, not a damn thing. I'm gonna sit my ass on the couch and eat pizza
Hell yeah.
and not work out.
Mhm.
He's like, because I am tired of doing this constantly.
Well, it's the same reason Chris Evans didn't want to do Captain America anymore, right?
It's
He's like,
rough.
I'm tired of being so damn ripped all the time.
Well,
Yep.
and when you look that way, that's actually not healthy.
No,
You're
no, you know how much it
To get that
sucks?
tone, you get dehydrated. So they're dehydrated when they do a lot of those shirtless scenes in the Marvel movies, the
Mhm.
men
Mhm.
and the women, or you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah, they're completely dehydrated because that's not actually what a super healthy body
And
looks
you're,
like.
You're supposed to have some body fat. I mean,
Mhm.
not as much as like some of us,
Mhm.
but some. You're definitely
Yeah.
supposed to have some.
Yeah, totally.
I'm not going to do any body shaming in this room at all. Like,
I'm not doing body shaming.
Yeah.
I'm just you know.
I only body shame myself.
don't body shame yourself.
If I don't like my body, something has to get me to do something about it. And I do respond well to shame.
Do you?
Okay.
50-50.
I
think
feel
our-
like,
Oh, I think our guest's here.
oh, excellent.
Okay. We'll talk about my body shame later.
Okay.
We'll
That's
bring
great.
it. And joining us now is
Hello.
Taylor. Hello.
I'm happy to be here.
Oh,
Oh no. Can you hear us, Taylor?
Yeah.
okay.
Hmm.
Why can't I hear them? Oh no.
Do you have her muted?
No.
Okay.
This will be a new weird quirk if I find out this is an issue.
Uh-oh.
Thank you for sitting through our technical
Yeah,
difficulties.
sorry. Yeah, her mic should be working.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Is it
Let's
something
see.
on the board, maybe?
It wouldn't have an impact on that.
Unless that is supposed to plug into that so that we're getting the feed. No?
It is plugged in.
Okay, then that's 100% my completely non-technical knowledge of how your board works. I don't know.
Yeah, sorry.
Right, because that guy is in and out, right?
Let's see.
Everything is falling apart.
Taylor, I'm going to send a private message if you'll see on the. Okay. This is exciting.
Well, if we need to vamp, we can go back to body shaming while you do that.
So let's not do body shaming. Let's what I was gonna say before technical difficulties is that I feel like you missed the point of Monsters Inc., which is yes, you can use negative reinforcement to get results. Positive reinforcement sometimes yields better results.
But if someone didn't grow up with positive reinforcement, to receive it now as an adult is weird and gross and uncomfortable, and so not particularly motivating.
Okay.
Okay, surely I'm not alone in that, right? Where's the chat? I bet.
No, I don't think you're alone in that. I think it's I think that starts getting into a larger conversation that is probably has more in common with a therapy session than fun weekly podcast banter. So maybe we're not going to go that direction.
Fine. Well, what did you do this weekend? I don't think you covered that very much.
Oh, I took pictures of comic books, listed them on eBay, sat around with the dog, sat around with the cat, fed snakes. That was exciting. That's always exciting.
Feeding the snakes.
Feeding the snakes.
Do you do live feeding or
No.
frozen?
We do frozen and then thawed, and then I take them out of their tank and feed them separately in a different area so that they never get food aggressive in the tank where they live.
Right. If they get accustomed to the idea that like a hand going into the tank means food, then eventually you get bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to. There's a whole process. I learned that somewhere. I'm not sure where. Maybe I know I like in middle school or something. I had a friend who had a snake. I might have learned it there.
And then they also get used to the feeling a person holding on to them while they feed, so that they associate that they. It's basically just to keep me from getting bitten.
Right.
On a regular
people
basis.
do it with dogs too.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes.
Yes, we can.
Wow. We're so technologically advanced over here.
You're very quiet though. Let's see if I can fix that.
I can talk like right into it if that's helpful.
You might have to, unfortunately. That is weird. I've got you cranked up as much as I can on this side.
I have one more pair of earbuds I can switch. Let me grab them and we'll try that as a last measure and we'll see how it goes.
All right.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
for your patience. Sorry.
Norm in the chat points out that yes, negative body issues will mentally deliver short-term results, but the damage ends up compounding issues in the long run.
Thank you,
yes,
Dr.
I
Noel.
know. I am mostly joking.
I know.
Just to be clear, before anyone starts like
Oh, no.
worrying about Bean's health situation.
I think everyone knows that there's a degree of the personas that they see weekly are show versions of Aaron, show versions of Denise, and show versions of Cable, not how we are all the time in the real world.
Okay.
Is this better or the same?
You're still a little quiet, but I think I can play with it in post there. So,
Fantastic.
Okie dokie.
and they're the listeners say they can hear you just fine. So maybe it's still on our end. Some things. Taylor, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So we first ran into you at the Ghosts of July event,
Ghost
here-
of Summer.
Ghosts of Summer, at the Oregon Convention Center, and that's where we first ran into Witch Hunt Theater. Can you tell us a little bit, like what is Witch Hunt Theater?
What is Witch Hunt Theater? I started this theater company in October of 2020, or I guess September, because that's when we had to start rehearsing. Pretty much in response to the fact that everyone was doing Zoom theater, and I said, I cannot do theater on the internet. It's just, we're meant to watch TV or like live streams or whatever on the computer or the TV screen and not like live theatrical performances. So I decided I wanted to do something in person, and the only way to do that at that time was to be outside with masks on. So that was where the site-specific theater comes in. I heard you talking about that earlier. And site-specific for us just means that we perform in anywhere except a theater. So we've been out in the woods. We've been on a farm. We were in a conference room for the show that you all saw, obviously. So we perform anywhere and everywhere. And then I've always been into horror forever. And in about 2018, I got a research grant to study theater and horror specifically. And that sort of like gave me the bug. And I've been doing horror theater ever since. So yeah, all the work, like we said, that we do is immersive, site-specific horror theater year round. So we have 2 more shows in the season this year. We have Death Race coming up. And then we have a show in November after that too.
I'm super curious right off the bat, how long does it take? Like once you know you have access to a space and you get a feel for what that space is like, how long does it take you to figure out what the plot or the story is going to be around, say, this abandoned barn?
Yeah, it kind of depends. A lot of the work that we do, the space comes first, like you said. So mostly I come up with that in my head first. Like you said, I'm like, I want to go out into an old barn or I want to do something in the middle of the woods. And then the story kind of just writes itself. Sometimes it goes the other way where the story comes first and then I have to kind of piecemeal and figure out where we're going to do it. We try to do things honestly as fast as possible because we want to pay people equitably for their time. So I consider myself to be a director first, an actor second, and a writer third. I write most of our pieces, but I'm not super like precious about the work that I'm writing. So I can kind of crank it out a little bit systematically based on whatever location we're doing. So I don't know, it takes me, let's say, a month to write a script and then another couple of weeks to rehearse and get everything sort of set in stone. The hardest things for us, honestly, are more logistical than anything because we're working in these unconventional spaces. We never have any lighting there. We don't have any like sound instruments and things like that. So it actually takes a lot more time to sort of find the right space for us, work out all those logistics, get the things we need and things like that. The other stuff like happens pretty quickly, actually.
So waiting for us to figure out sound issues is old hat for you at this point. Is basically you're already geared for this.
Yep, we one time had to start a show over because our one actor in the show forgot to turn her mic on, so we just had to hold and start over from the beginning. So
Oh gosh.
That has never happened to this show.
No, never.
Never.
good for you.
Nice.
Well, I know that one of the things that we wanted to talk about is the upcoming Death Race. And full disclosure, we're in the process of putting together our team to enter into Death Race. I think we need to find one more member, and then we've got 6 players.
Yeah, so you can build a team of 4 to 6 players. So if you want to fill in all 6, that's totally fine. But yeah, our next event is sort of unlike anything we've done before. Every event that we do, we try to make it different than anything we've ever done. So far, that's going great. This one is less of a play and more of just an event that's happening. I'm advertising this as sort of a competitive team event that's equal parts like scavenger hunt, puzzle game, haunted house, like, game of hide and seek and tag out in the woods. And since it's a competition, multiple teams will be there each night. There will be a winner, there will be a loser, there might be prizes, who's to say, but we just locked in our location and it's literally going to be out in the middle of the woods. So bring a flashlight. It's going to be dark. It's going to be spooky. I'm very excited about it.
Excellent. Yep. So far, the people that we've got lined up are really excited about it. So we just need to find one more person that's as adventurous and or crazy.
Yep. It's a hard sell for some people, but for the ones who are coming, it's going to be dope as hell.
Nice. How I'm just curious, like, how physical do you think this is going to be? Like, what would you put it at?
Yeah. Is that because you don't want to do any exercise? I heard that earlier too.
No, that's not. I've heard from a few people that are worried that like they could hurt themselves.
I would say, how clumsy are these people? It's not going to be super physical. Most of the events are going to be timed events. So that's the sort of like physicality that comes in because you're going to want to do everything quickly. But there's going to be minimal like running and hurdling and jumping. Like there's not going to be a ton of that. I think the one most athletic thing that's going to happen is we're going to have the teams run in a straight line down a path that is like very well graveled. So just don't trip over your own feet. I would say that's the biggest danger there. Everything else, you'll have your flashlight, you'll be in the woods, like you'll be totally fine. It's more about the mind games than anything else.
I call not it for that one.
I'm
Yeah,
a
nose
runner. I'm
goes.
fine with that.
That's right. I can be a good tank. If it's required, I can take the hit pretty well.
Nice. So, along with you, how many other people are part of Witch Hunt Theater?
That's a great question. It started when I was living with two actors, Ash Heffernan and Lane Barbour. Lane was the other actor opposite me in the show that you all saw at the convention. So it really started with us just as this sort of trio doing everything that needed to be done. And then once in a while, we would pull in another actor here and there if we needed someone, or a stage manager or things like that. So that's sort of my core ensemble, honestly, is me and these two others. And now we're slowly sort of gaining a following of other people who like to work with us. So Ty was the third actor that was in the Ghosts of Summer play. He also is now a big part of this season and is involved with most of the things we do. We're kind of growing as we go, but like I said, we try to go on sort of a socialist model of art making, which is that all of us split the profits evenly. So the less people we can have on each project, the more money each of us will make. So it kind of works out twofold that way. Plus, just scheduling like a million actors at once is it's like herding cats. So the fewer the better in that case. But yeah, it was during COVID, so it was just the three of us living together. That was the easiest way, and we've kind of grown from there.
Nice.
Yeah, scheduling is never easy. As one who has a pseudo regular D&D game with adults, the greatest big bad is the schedule. It's never the monsters. Like ever.
Yeah, especially for that many hours at a time. Like nobody has 4 hours to sit and do anything.
Nope.
No, and that's super frustrating because that's all we want to do. Let's see here. We're getting people asking how they can like form their teams. I'm going to put the link to your.
I just dropped it in there.
Oh, well, you beat me to it then. Never mind. Very well.
Except
it didn't work, so I'm going to do
yours
it.
doesn't work.
Oh,
We can't
okay.
post links.
Sorry, it looks normal when I see it.
It looks like this
Thanks, Twitch.
in the chat.
But for people who are not currently in the chat, if you go to the website, witchhunttheater.com, and as we mentioned the previous week, it's Theater TRE, the fancy one.
Fancy one. Yes.
And there you can learn more about the theater itself and then access tickets and details for specifically Death Race.
Yeah, we're also regularly posting on Instagram. That's the easiest social media to reach us. So it's just at Witch Hunt Theater with an RE, as you just said. And the link to the tickets for this show are in the bio of our Instagram as well. And teams for this, like we're asking for 4 to 6 players, including whoever is like clicking purchase online. So really you just need 3 friends. You can bring more if you want to, but yeah, you buy your tickets in teams instead of individually. And our link is on the website, on the Instagram. And we're always reachable too if anyone ever wants to reach out, DM us and ask us more questions, or there's a email submission form on the website. We are happy to chat, happy to have you get involved, or just, talk shop or whatever. So
Cool.
we're very reachable.
Go ahead.
I was saying, like, I don't want you to like give away too much about Death Race because it hasn't happened yet, and obviously we want to participate, so we don't want to be spoiled on that. But I would love an example of a previous project and sort of how it all works. Like, what are examples of the activities that happen?
Yeah, so are you asking more so about like what people are gonna have to do when they get there, or like about the process of like figuring it out?
Like the experience, the storytelling. Not necessarily like and what hurdles am I gonna have to face, but just more of the theater storytelling aspect.
Actual hurdles, physical hurdles.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, like I said, every project has been so different. So things have looked kind of different in terms of participation for each one, which has been really exciting. Our first show that we did in October of 2020 was pretty ambitious, honestly, but like to sort of paint a picture of that experience, we had everyone park in this elementary school parking lot in the middle of the night, and then we like met them out there and split them up from their groups and walked them into the woods into this like undisclosed location. And then we did our play, in which I guess it's over now, so I can give away the trade secrets of that one. But two of the actors went missing off in the woods, and then the third actor just walked everyone back to their cars and then left them standing there and walked off back into the woods to find the rest of us too. So that one was more so like the audience didn't have to participate per se. They just had to blindly trust us and follow us into the woods. And a couple of shows ago, we were on Savi Island on a farm, which was really exciting. That was more of a walkthrough experience where everyone got there, and it was a yoga-based play. So we asked everyone to bring yoga mats. They set them out sort of on the lawn. They were free to wander around. And then they sort of followed characters throughout each scene to different locations on the farm, which was really fun. The most iconic like vision I have in my brain of what Witch Hunt Theater was our show that we did in the barn. That was a lesbian vampire play, so already like 10 out of 10 content. And that one, people drove like 45 minutes out to Sandy, Oregon to see that show, sat through it in this like dusty old barn. There were literal live bats living in the barn that would like fly overhead as we did the play. And then our last scene, we turned to the audience and we were like, will you come with me? And then walked them out into the woods again, where an actor was laying in a grave filled with blood and like emerged from it out in the woods. And the best part about that is at the end of the show, we just shut off all the lights. The actors like scattered away, and we left the audience to their devices to find their way back to their vehicles. So it's a lot of that. Yeah, that was a good one.
So Witch Hunt Theater is not for people with abandonment issues, is what you're saying.
Correct. Although I'm telling you, I'm going to abandon you right up front, you know?
This is true.
It's true. Also, probably not great if you are uncomfortable being out in the woods after dark.
Oh, God.
Yeah, definitely. Death Race, especially, the whole thing is going to be out in the woods. We're going to be together. We're not going to, full disclosure, we're not going to make anyone go off by themselves. So don't worry. We're not going to like drag you into like, you know, a tree and never see you again. But we will be out in the woods. It will be dark. You'll be with your team, but that's where that's happening. And then our last show of the season is happening in a house in a more typical kind of like audience actor play situation. So if Death Race doesn't seem like your speed, our next show definitely will be, and that's in November after Halloween.
Someone in the chat on Twitch says that they actually saw the show that you were just talking about and said it was frightening and amazing.
That's what we like to hear. Frightening and amazing. That's our motto.
That's awesome.
We also have a question in the chat. You know, in theater, in storytelling, you've got what you've written out, and then as you're practicing it and rehearsing, sometimes an accident happens, and you're like, no, that's good. We should keep that. And then it ends up being like a part of an element of the show that everyone really loves. Do you have anything like that where you or your fellow actors like kind of biffed it, but you were like, no, this is actually better?
Well, we've had a lot of crazy things happen to us as actors, which is also part of why our shows, I think, are so scary, is because there's an element of fear for us too. So basically, when we're rehearsing, like, we will just say like, oh, wouldn't it be like so terrifying if you were lost by yourself out in the woods? And then we're like, oh, we should do that for the show. So like our first show, for example, the one that was out in the woods in the nighttime where we walked everyone out there, we weren't exactly sure. Like, we thought when we started, we were just going to do this sort of scary stories in the woods, like, oh, it's just going to be spooky because of the atmosphere, and then we'll send everyone home and that's it. And then because when we got there the first time at nighttime, we had rehearsed during the day and all was well, and then we had to go back and try it at night, and we literally could not find the trail that we were supposed to be on. So we were like, we went in like 3 different entrances. We were like, this wood is haunted, like it's moved around somehow. And also when we were on the way there, we literally had flashlights and we saw this like field full of like 100 eyes like reflecting back at us. And so we freaked out. Obviously it wasn't anything deadly. It turned out to be like, I'm not shitting you, like 50 deer staring at us in this open field. So we were horrified. But then we were like, okay, what if this isn't so straightforward? What if this is more of a premise of someone getting lost in the woods? And what does that mean? And if one of us were to get lost, the other ones would go find them. And so how can we play with that, make the audience feel like we're lost, and sort of lean into the fear of that? Otherwise, all of the stuff that happens in our shows that is the most scary are things that the actors come up with and ask me if they can do. And I'm always like, of course, like, please lean into all of that. Like one of our shows, I had written into the script that the characters were supposed to stick their heads in buckets full of water and hold their breath as long as they could. So I approached this with the actors saying, like, we don't actually have to fill them with water. We can sort of put a couple inches in there just to wet the top of your head. You don't have to commit fully to like holding your breath until you can't breathe anymore. And then of course, Ty, who was in the last show that y'all saw, came up to me and was like, but can I fill it with water all the way to the top? And I was like, of course. And actors are competitive too. So then all of them were like, I'm going to fill this bucket with water too. So all of our craziest shit comes from the actors directly. And you can quote me on that.
Everyone in this room has worked with actors. We believe it.
Yes.
Exactly.
And have been at one time or another.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love to complain about like, oh, we have to do all this crazy stuff out in the woods and it's cold and it's wet and blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, can I just get into the grave filled with blood? I'm like, you said it, not me. Be my guest.
Oh yeah, come to think of it, like some of the stuff that I would in normal circumstances be least likely to do or like very uncomfortable with, I've done for the sake of an acting thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you just think about the effect that it's going to have on the audience, and then you're more willing to be like, okay, it'll be so cool if I have to suffer through this thing. And I'm really lucky to work with people who are really willing to suffer for the art.
Nice. What was I going to ask? What's your personal history with horror? What brought you to horror? Like,
yeah, so I always say this like as a fun fact that people wouldn't expect about me. I'm afraid of everything. I am like a very naturally anxious person. I was an anxious kid, and I think for so many people, the horror genre is a way to experience fear in a sort of safe environment. Like for me, the world seems really scary, but if I can craft an environment where I'm in control of what's happening and I can scare other people, that gives me this sort of like sense of security over my life. Other than that, I mean, as I've grown older, I think that's what drew me to it as a kid. And, you know, that'll be a through line for my whole life. But now I'm also thinking about what kind of art I want to put into the world. And we have always had brilliant horror directors and writers who use horror as social commentary. And now even more so, like Jordan Peele is a great example of that. I really want to lean into horror as a sort of transformational genre. And a lot of that is reflected in our work too. We're sort of, you know, marginalized people sort of taking back the power or being the villain or having these unexpected sort of twists and turns that give the agency to different people than you would expect, especially through the horror genre, and using that as a kind of catharsis. You know, one of my favorite shows that we've done so far is this 2-person play that's about online dating and this predatory man. And of course, all of that comes out of my experience of being a young woman and the fear that I carry dating young men in society. So it's a nice sort of like reflective, cathartic sort of social commentary that I can put out into the world through the lens of my anxiety in a productive way instead of in a scared at home on my couch kind of way.
I don't think anyone on this stream thinks that that's a weird backstory for horror loving at all.
No, that's a very familiar story.
Familiar.
Cool. So what is like a like, do you have an ultimate experience you would like to try to pull off one day, like the pie in the sky kind of, you know, live theatrical experience? Of
course I do. I don't want to reveal all my plans. But ultimately, my goal is to grow Witch Hunt into this sort of self-sustaining organism. I don't think I've said this out loud to anyone yet, but my big long-term, like 10-year plan is to eventually buy some sort of property that has acreage, hopefully some forests, maybe a log cabin that is Witch Hunt Theater, and do all of our shows in this house space, whatever, on this property, and sort of build this like spooky empire that we can do all of our content in, and just do, vastly different shows in this sort of same witch hunt space. So
Nice.
That would be awesome.
yeah, it would be great. And then we could have housing for artists. We could use that as sort of a residency, like during the winter when it's too cold to be doing things. Like, there's just so many things I would like to do out of one space that's not just a theater, but is sort of this community built environment,
Kind of like a modern artists collective.
Yes, with a focus in horror, of course.
I know it seems on the nose, but it sounds like the perfect property would be an abandoned summer camp.
Exactly. I would love that. I have been wanting to do a show at a summer camp for sure. That's on my list of locations to build a show around as well. So if you know anyone that wants to give us a summer camp for free for a couple weeks, let me know.
I might know of a place.
Of course.
I'm all ears. Let me know. Send me an email.
He's checking now, I bet.
I am. You know me. This is how I work.
That's true.
Oh, you want to do a thing? Let me connect you with the people that can do the thing.
We all need people like that. We appreciate that.
I've been doing that for what, 15 years?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hopefully this doesn't overlap too much with some of what we've already discussed, but I'm kind of curious if there are any particular movies that you not necessarily draw inspiration from in general, but I guess it's just like, are there any movies where you're like, that is a really great concept, I would love to be able to pull that off in our live version of this storytelling?
Well, we're definitely influenced by especially the contemporary horror canon. Like our show that we did on a farm on Sauvie Island, that was the first show we had done in the daytime. And so we were pulling from like Midsummer and Midnight Mass, that Netflix show about the town and the church and everything. Like all of these sort of like, it's creepy and it's daytime and nothing bad is actually happening for a long time, but why do we feel so horrible? So we draw on lots of things for all of our shows. My favorite horror movie forever, I will die on this hill, is Creep. And Creep 2 is just as good. Both are on Netflix. I will be their publicist forever. I think those are brilliant films. And there's nothing especially in them that screams like, oh, Witch Hunt should do something similar, but it's just like they do something that I haven't ever seen before in a way that's just really unsettling and believable and intriguing. And it's just, those are great movies. So watch them if you haven't. Creep 2, both are like equally good. Who knows how that might influence our work.
On my watch list.
I think that the Duplass brothers would like absolutely love that endorsement, because you're right. There's nothing like wildly scary about them. It's a very like attainable way to be scared, right? It's like a very relatable situation, or just very easy to believe. To find oneself in a situation like that, and then all of a sudden something's not right, and the next thing you know, you are fearing for your life.
Yeah, and the acting in those is also just like so amazingly realistic and natural and awkward, and they don't shy away from the realness of that. I mean, that's part of why we do immersive work as well, is so we can kind of drop people into a story instead of just showing them one. Like, we can all sit on our couch and watch Netflix all day if we want to. You go to a live event because you want to be interacting with it in some way, even if you don't, even if people are freaked out by that on the surface. I feel like the word interactive or immersive makes people nervous. But being able to sort of embody and walk around in this world is what we try to provide to people. So it's a unique live experience, and we're trying to put them in this realistic environment so they never know if what's happening could happen to them. So that's also the overlap there with Creep. Creep does that super well in movie form also.
I think that those two words, interactive and immersive, were what, like, when we went to Ghost of Summer, we were looking at all of the events going on, and it's like we were considering everything. And as soon as Corpse went from being, oh, they're performing a play to, oh, this is an immersive, interactive event, it's like, done. We're
Yeah.
done. We're all three of us just nailed it.
But we
What-
did have one person in the party who saw that and said, "Nah, I'm good."
That's true. He did.
And
Yeah.
they're a performer, so that seems a little bit ironic, I guess. But
Yeah, I'm definitely the person that always like sits in the back row of the theater. I also do not want to be interacted with when I go to things because I want to have that control of what's happening. But we've been super lucky. We've gotten great audiences who are like really ready to participate. Partially by design and partially by luck. So I'm really curious. I know y'all said that you talked about it in a different episode, but I want to hear about what your experience was like at Corpse and what surprised you and what you were expecting or what you got, or, you know, just I'd love to hear your reactions to that too.
who wants to start?
I don't know what we were expecting.
I thought it was funny how many people willingly just wrote their real names on a contract, either fake or not.
Without discussing it, all three of us used fake names. We
That's
did
smart.
not
That's
discuss
very
it. We
smart.
just all wrote down fake names and gave fake names throughout the performance.
Mm-hmm.
But we have all done theater, and we have all worked at haunts.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that background of like, oh no, we know what we're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're maybe not the best people to ask for like impressions because we sort of came in with expectations. But what we can say is that I think our expectations were met.
Yeah, it was
yeah.
thoroughly
If not
enjoyable.
exceeded,
I had
yeah.
a great time. I mean, I didn't know what to expect, and I had a great time.
The ending for sure did not see it coming.
Nice.
I get after a certain point, I was like, okay, I no longer can predict where we're going with this. And so I think that that's probably a pretty good thing to say about your work as people who, you know, routinely and as almost for work go, all right, what is this and where are you going with it? And sort of like deconstructing someone's story right in front of them.
Yeah, that was definitely a goal of ours, that we were really scared of, like, will people be able to predict this before it's happening, or will we get that like super satisfying moment of like not even plot twist, but the sort of reveal of that moment. And not everybody, but a lot of people were very shocked by that in a way that was super satisfying for us. So I'm glad that you also had that experience as like theater goers and artists as well.
I think the crowd seemed just diverse enough that I wouldn't have been able to pick that there was going to be a plant anywhere in that room.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it seems like that should have been a thing, but I'm like, I don't know who it's supposed to be because everyone looks like they just wandered in here.
Yeah.
Most brave of the group are the ones that sat down at the table. Like,
Yeah.
no,
Right.
I'm in this 100%. I thought the props that you provided really helped guide everyone to be able to participate in a way that made them feel part of the play. So those were very effective. Good props.
Yeah.
And the performances like,
Oh my God.
from the moment you walk into the room, like you can see, okay, they're in character and they stay in character, and you know, your people were wandering the con floor in character, and I don't like you said,
It was her. She was wondering the
Yes.
floor.
there was two of them.
I thought Delaney. It's Delaney, right?
Yeah, Lane. Mhm.
Lane was just in the room.
Okay, I thought I remember seeing both of them both of you wandering the halls. Either way, always in character. And you were saying, you know, like you only have a couple weeks between, you know, thinking of a new idea, hashing it out, writing it, and then practicing it. And so I assume that that's the case with the Ghost of Summer presentation, and it was so well executed. I would have expected that a lot more time and preparation went into it.
Yeah, well, I definitely appreciate that. I mean, that's a huge compliment. And I mean, the honest truth about Ghosts of Summer is that they were like, okay, you can do live performance theater in a conference room. And I was like, how the hell are we going to do that? And I was thinking about bringing in like PVC pipes and curtains and trying to like black out the room and having a fog machine and all this stuff. And I was like, totally going against all of our roots. And I just realized like, okay, we do site specific theater. Okay, you're in a conference room. Great. So what's going to happen in there? So the process was like, it honestly, a lot of it happens on a deadline basis. I'm like, okay, we only have 2 rehearsals for this. So I have to have this solidly done and ready to go by this date. And the work kind of just happens that way because I work better under pressure, I would say. But it really took a long time to be like, I agonized for months. Like I've known I was going to be a part of this convention for almost a year before it happened. And I was still like, I don't know, conference room for scary things. How are we going to do that? And we also have been super surprised about how much participation we get in these pieces. We've learned a lot of lessons about how to encourage participation and how to do it in a way that people actually will participate. But even like our, show on the farm, we had a scene where after a couple of runs, we had this like bowl basically of just like chocolate and herbs, but in the scene all the characters were taking them as drugs and having this psychedelic experience together. So the characters would all eat from the bowl, and then the cult leader would just hand the bowl to one of the audience members and like implying that they should pass it around, and without telling them to or even like indicated anything, like they started eating the chocolate and passing it down the line. And we're like, you don't know us, you don't know what's in there. Like we've been shocked by the willingness of people to just jump right in, and it's really made our work even better than we can imagine when people are like ready and with us.
Yeah, I know you at the Ghosts of Summer event, you did a fantastic job of creating the cringiness and banality of a horrible corporate orientation. Like
Thank
that
you.
was the more I was glad when the sacrifice happened, because I was like, I can't, this is so uncomfortable.
The
Like,
slideshow.
And the puns and the talking together of like, I've been in this meeting before and I hated it. So
Yeah, me too. That's how that happened.
Sacrifice.
Oh yeah, that'd been awesome.
Yeah, I think based off of the one performance we've seen, it seems like you all do a pretty good job of combining the environment and a story, and again, like executing performances. It's just like a nice little, trifecta of really good storytelling. We're excited for Death Race for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just got all of our like lore and legend figured out about the woods and Death Race, so we're excited about that too. Everything is not what it seems. That's all I will say about that.
Write that down.
It's too late. Well, Taylor, it was so great to have you on the show. Thanks for popping in and chatted up about Witch Hunt Theater. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I'm just going to plug the Instagram one more time and our website, witchhunttheater.com or at Witch Hunt Theater. That's theater with an R-E. And if anyone needs to reach out, our Gmail is the same thing, witchhunttheater@gmail. The link to the tickets is on the website and the Instagram for Death Race. And when Death Race is done, our next show will also have tickets up there. So check us out. Thanks so much for having us. And we're very excited to see you at Death
we'll
Race.
see you in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Taylor.
Bye. And this is a good time to take a quick little break. We'll
Indeed.
be right back. And we're back.
Seems like we just left.
Really? It seems like we've never left.
It does seem that way sometimes.
Like we've checked out, but we can never leave.
Yes.
What is this? The Hotel California?
Dude. I feel like I've checked out. Full disclosure, I got hit with like a horrible dizzy spill.
Yeah, you
Oh,
look
that's
a
not
little. You look a little loopy.
Yeah, I've had this horrible tension headache for days. And I think it's just spreading. Like it's making it worse. Or it was a little stroke, which would be not good.
Probably not that.
Probably not that.
Probably not that. I feel like that would
that's
be more extreme.
Yeah, that's your brain kind of tricking you again. Stupid brains.
Yeah. So. Ooh.
That's fine. It's exactly what I want to hear when I say, I want to take us out into the woods and let scary people do scary things to us. What could possibly go wrong, Tia?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, she was cool. That was fun. Sorry for the
Yep.
technical thing in the beginning. That's something I will have to figure out.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, I don't know why it would do that.
I'm not quite sure either.
There's no real reason why.
Yeah,
So-
I'm actually on Instagram right now sending Taylor information about the camp.
Oh, excellent! I love.
Of
that
course you know
I love
someone
that
like
you
that.
like got it done like during the duration of the show. Like we're not even off air yet, and you're like, this is done.
Yeah.
Check.
And we're set.
I,
Is what cable do.
it is. I also. Yeah, I'll wait to talk to them when we're actually in Death Race, but I'm fascinated by this, and I want to see what they do more for theater, because I usually don't want to audition for theater, and I want to audition for theater.
Right. Yeah, you gotta get your scare on.
Man, I just want to scare people. I want to scare people all the time. In
Nice.
appropriate settings to scare them, and not when I'm at the grocery store. It's not good.
Don't pretend like you don't like it.
I do like it. But I'm also aware I'm not supposed to do it.
He knows it's inappropriate to jump out behind like the produce aisle and be like, "Wajaba!"
Yeah, that's not what I sound like when I scare.
I know, I'm just saying. In general, cable knows when it is appropriate to just scare people.
You know, Cable's not a screamer or a gibberish noisemaker.
No, I'm a.
He scares you with real words.
And the
Which is
smile.
worse.
Yeah. Which is
I will
creepier.
I will stand in entryways or small windows or cutouts and just do this.
That's Dave's horrible influence on you.
Yes, I don't think Dave can take full credit for this.
Right.
though. He gave me an outlet but the passion was always there. I just didn't know it until I had an outlet, and then it was like, oh fuck.
The passion? I think you mispronounced creepiness.
It's how the creepiness is how my passion presents itself.
I almost did a spit take.
Don't
Which
do that.
no, I had to work. I'm like, I've already made one mess in here today.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
Just like really
yeah.
try to control yourself.
Yep.
Dean. I know. Now it's gonna stink in here.
Way to go.
That's why I can't have nice things because of me
Yep.
Yeah.
and my
You-
clumsiness.
You ruin everything. There
Which is why
goes
I'm not the one who's
Christmas.
gonna run around in the dark. That can
It'll
only
be funny.
end poorly. I just got this tooth fixed. I'm not gonna break it again.
All right. We'll keep that in mind. Don't break Bean's tooth.
Please and thank you.
I don't really have anything else planned for today.
Oh geez. I know that.
There was the big D&D 1 announcement that Wizards hosted.
Yeah, they announced a lot of
They
shit.
announced a lot of stuff. Like Planescape's happening next year, which I'm pumped for. It's gonna be super cool. Yeah, I mean they're making suggested changes that some I like, some I'm like, well, I don't know. But it's been fun watching like RPG Twitter like lose their mind over Wizards of the Coast. They're forcing this rule, and I'm like, literally the first rule in the DMG is throw out any rule you don't like.
Yeah.
Like every role-playing game is like throw out any rule you don't like.
Why is this?
No one's
so
policing the way you play your game.
Yeah, and
with
also
your friends.
All role-playing games are made up. All of them. The rules are made up.
All words are made up.
That's true.
Oh, there we go. There's a topic. Did you guys watch She-Hulk yet?
I did.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That's the
what
thing
did
that
you
came
guys,
out.
What did you guys think?
That was a blast.
I adored it. I also discovered that
Oop.
the thing that was frustrating for me personally is I felt called out by this episode of She-Hulk because much of Bruce's dialogue and approach to everything in the episode also mirrors my own journey with trying to deal with my own toxic masculinity and still haven't gone through therapy for it and anger issues. And I'm like, this is fuck. She-Hulk, why are you so mean to me? I just wanted to watch your show.
Yeah, I was not prepared for them to get so real, so hard, so much of the first episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, hashtag relatable content.
Yeah.
The whole like, Bruce, I've been controlling my anger my whole life.
It's like
yeah.
those are natural states of being for women. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
And I mean, like, it's not something I spend a lot of time thinking about, but she is 100% not wrong. And the most surprising thing is that, you know, Marvel is a Disney, and Disney is not known for, you know, even talking about the agency of women. I mean, yeah, they've gotten better with their, you know, in their more recent animated movies, but they're notorious for being, you know, the princess brand.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, just the idea of going from that to this extreme opposite of someone who is fully aware and fully talking to you about how much anger she has to tamp down on a constant basis just because she's a woman was unexpected to me. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe other people like saw that coming a mile away. I've never read She-Hulk.
What was unexpected for you?
Just
Sorry.
like how forward they were going to be with like, no, being a woman, it is constant rage that you just have to tamp down.
I feel like the comic has touched on that in the past before.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the thing that it did that the comic did was it turned directly into
Fourth wall break.
breaking the fourth wall. Like as soon as that first scene rolled up and she did that, it's like, oh, okay, we are getting that She-Hulk show,
Which is cool.
Aside from the fact that people had mentioned it to me already as an element of the comic, that's kind of a big deal. Breaking the fourth wall in television is not that new or exciting, so that kind of flew under the radar for me in terms of like, there it is. That is all.
But it's in the MCU proper, it has not been done. There has been no acknowledgement that there is a movie audience watching.
Right.
And I have heard, I have not looked into this to substantiate this, but a coworker mentioned that this was not the originally planned first episode.
It was not.
No, that the footage from the first episode was actually supposed to be spread out over a couple later episodes as flashbacks.
The training montage.
I was wondering about that.
And so basically, Jennifer's opening monologue where she turns to the camera and goes, yeah, I know, I said Hulk. And we're not going to be able to move on with this fun lawyer show that we've made for you until we address that, right? Right, because that's all you're going to think about. Which means that was actually a boardroom conversation about initial critical feedback.
Right.
That they went, oh, okay, well, let's just put all of it up in episode 1 and then move on. And that's literally what they did. It fascinates me. And it makes it like this is the show that you can do that with.
Right.
Well, I also think it's going to be better for the story in general because rather than sprinkling in all of these, Jennifer and Bruce scenes, they can just get all the Bruce Banner shit out of the way up front and then leave it to her. Because as the internet has made quite clear, Tatiana Maslany is absolutely capable of carrying a show by herself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Times 6, times 8, whatever the number is.
I mean, I don't think we're done seeing Banner Hulk.
I don't think so either.
Because they're going to introduce other characters as part of the whole thing.
Matt Murdock.
Oh yeah. Oh, that would make sense.
Oh, Matt Murdock
right.
is.
They've already
100%.
showed him in
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I don't.
Matt
remember
Murdock
that.
and Daredevil are in this.
No Jessica Jones.
They're working on bringing Kristen Ritter and I think Mike Coulter, like you were mentioning this, back in.
And Punisher, like all of them. Yeah. Because we've seen Yellow Suit already in like quick clip. We've seen Yellow Suit Daredevil.
Mhm.
Mm.
They can 100% lose Finn Jones' number.
Yeah. Wait, which one's Finn Jones?
Exactly.
I'm like rapidly Googling, oh, Iron Fist.
Oh,
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
The only character that I'm particularly interested in seeing in She-Hulk, and this is because of the infinitely small number of Marvel comics that I've ever read, is Patsy Walker.
Oh, sure.
Was she playing again?
Hellcat.
No, Hellcat. Patsy
Oh,
Walker,
okay.
Hellcat, because in the comic book, Patsy Walker, aka Hellcat, which I read for a bit, She-Hulk is in it regularly, and that's the only exposure to She-Hulk that I have. So when you
Nice.
say She-Hulk, my brain automatically says Patsy Walker.
Yeah, they instead did that with Jessica Jones,
Gotcha.
and then went a weird. We're gonna make her a superhero by making her a drug addict. I still haven't watched the last season of Jessica Jones,
I don't think I ever did either.
so I like it, and that's not a knock against the show Jessica Jones. I really like the show. It is also really hard to get through.
Yeah.
It is so fucking intense.
That might have been why we didn't finish it, because Christian doesn't do well with like hard, dark, difficult stuff like that. Where I'm like, yes, yeah, I'm not, give me more. But it is. It gets really dark and gritty. I love Kristen Ritter, so I'll watch anything she's in.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, She-Hulk was great. You are right. Tatiana Maslany is fantastic. It just makes me want to go back and watch Orphan Black even more.
Don't
That was a
think
cool
I
show.
watched it. I might have started to and then lost track. There was that time that like my Netflix got jacked. So like my 47, currently watching things went away.
Mm-hmm.
And my everything. It all went away. Yeah, I'm looking forward to more episodes. That first one was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Indeed.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And then we've got Lower Decks coming up, but I think in about a week.
I know.
All kinds of
No.
good stuff coming.
No,
So soon.
This
It's
week.
this week. It's
it's this week.
nice.
I'm so excited. I'm
Yeah.
jazzed.
So get ready
I-
for us to constantly talk about Star Trek again, friends.
Woo!
It's fine. Like I've missed not being able to have Strange New Worlds conversations.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Do we know when that's coming back yet?
Next
Next
year
Mm.
for sure. That's a year away.
Yep. They season 2 finished filming the same week that season 1 finished airing.
Right.
So that means principal photography is done. Now everything goes into effects.
Right. So it'll be a while.
Yeah, it'll be some time. We'll probably have Discovery first.
Yeah, Discovery season 5 should be
Possibly even Picard before Strange New Worlds.
yeah, that's how it was last.
Yeah, that's
this-
true.
This
That's been the
last
track
lineup.
record. So
Yeah, we should get Discovery after Lower Decks, and then Picard. Somewhere in there, they'll bring back the other episodes of Prodigy,
right. Yeah.
and then Strange New Worlds again. And still no mention of when exactly they're going to debut Section 31.
Yeah, who knows? I don't even think there's any stories yet.
Do we know why there hasn't been any updates at least? Like, is there an update as to the lack of updates?
No, I haven't
No.
heard anything.
Nothing really. So who knows on that one?
Like they could be that could be deliberate. It's like so what have you heard about Section 31? Nothing. What have you heard?
Right.
It's a clandestine organization that no one's supposed to know about. So maybe it'll just suddenly appear on Paramount Plus.
That
With-
would be fun.
It would be, but I don't see them doing that.
Yeah.
That's not good marketing.
So some marketing person would freak out. They're
Yes.
like, no, we have to advertise. It's like, no, this is the advertisement. We're not doing anything. No, we can't. We
That's a
can't.
bad call.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that might be good for today, for this week.
Yeah,
Who do we have? Do we have a guest next week again?
we do not.
All right.
Um, but as you mentioned at the top of the show, this is episode 660, which means episode.
I'll be gone next week.
That's
So-
what's going on.
Yeah. What I might actually do is I might rebroadcast our interview with Bill Oakley because we did that interview when the site was in transition.
Oh,
So a lot of people actually didn't get to download that episode.
Okay.
Oh,
So I might just repost that.
you want to take next week off?
I won't be here.
Well, yeah, we've
Uh,
done.
I forgot to tell you guys before we got started that I might have to miss next week.
Oh, well, then we're taking
So-
then
There you
we're
go.
taking next week off.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's just going to be the cable show, and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I have social media to do that
I mean, you
bullshit.
could.
No,
All right.
again, we have social media for me to do that kind of bullshit.
Cool.
So
So well,
But-
there you have it, friends. We will not be here next week.
Yeah, not live. Well, there'll be a
Yeah.
show. I'll just rebroadcast the Bill Oakley one. I
That'll
think
be
people
great.
will like that one a lot.
But anyway, as I was saying, this is episode 660, which means episode 666
right.
is coming up.
Very
And
soon.
we're putting together something interesting for you.
Yeah,
for that.
something fun, something different than a regular show for
Yeah.
sure.
So stay tuned. That'll be in October.
Yep.
It'll now be the second week of October,
Yeah.
which is great.
Well, with that being said, I'm Aaron Duran.
I'm being Rita.
And I'm Cable Hashitani.
We will talk to everybody in 2 weeks. Bye, friends.